Hello and welcome to another Arsenal building video. This one is for the 900 Global Reality Check and Wolverine Dark Moss, which are available now, so we're going to take a look at where they'll fit in your bags. Here's the tech specs of each ball. The Reality Check is a very strong asymmetric ball, while the Wolverine Dark Moss is a medium strength symmetric ball. The check has the same core as the other two realities, but a variation of the same cover formula. The Dark Moss is the original Wolverine, just in a different color and at the new 4K fast surface rather than polished. The biggest thing everyone always wants to know beyond ball reaction is where will this ball fit in my bag? Sure, a ball might look great in a review or on the shelf, but a couple $100 for something that's on top of something you already own isn't that great of a decision. It's better to fill in gaps or replace stuff that's seen better days. With Angel and the Reality Check, it's a ball that would fit at the top of her bag. It's longer and sharper than something like an Infinite Physics, but the overall strength is about the same. Like I've said before, stuff this strong doesn't see a lot of action for her, but she does like to keep one of these in the bag just in case. Her usual first ball out of the bag is the Nova, which we've talked about before and which I'll show some more of next, but sometimes it's just not quite strong enough depending on where we're at. So even if a Reality Check only gets used for a couple games, those couple games will be better than if she'd have had to struggle through them with something else that didn't fit the situation. Next, of course, is the Nova. I know we've seen this one in the last couple videos, but again, I'm not going to just insert random stuff in here. Plus, you can consider this kind of a what's in the bag update as well. And the Nova is naturally a perfect fit under the check. If you saw our check versus Nova comparison a couple days ago, you already know the story, but these two are great complements. The Nova is both a couple boards weaker and a fair amount smoother, so you have a couple very solid asymmetric options at the top of your bag, should you so choose to do that. Since we've seen plenty of the Nova recently and have a video dedicated to the comparison, I'm going to move on. Angel's been going back and forth between the Zen Soul and the Cosmos, and they both fit in this spot. Soul's a little longer and sharper, Cosmos earlier and smoother, but about the same hook potential, so we'll look at the Cosmos because of a different kind of relationship to the Nova. The Cosmos has a stronger cover, but weaker core, and shares a somewhat similar shape. It's very round and smooth, so it's almost more of a move sideways than down. So if you need a similar look but adjusted, the Cosmos pairs very well with the Nova. Since this is the kind of look Angel typically favors, stacking a few things in kind of the same zone is a better idea than making sure you have all your bases covered on paper, so to speak. Having shape complements and a few different looks within a range of reactions you frequently use is a lot better idea than taking stuff along that you're pretty sure you aren't going to use. The next ball down is the Wolverine Dark Moss, and it's another kind of riff on the last two, but in a different way. Beyond just optics, it's fairly similar to the Cosmos as well. A little longer and sharper, a few boards weaker, but you've likely already said wow at the overall similarity. The problem with building a bag this way is that it's a little one note. Aside from the check at the top, it's smooth followed by smooth followed by smooth. However, Angel doesn't do sharp very often. Rarely does angular come into the equation. The High Road, which is usually her weakest ball, is a sharper look, or at least sharper than these, but that's for when she has to play a lot of lane. The Dark Moss is marginally stronger than the High Road, little lower RG, little higher diff, virtually the same cover formula, so with the 4K fast finish, plus earlier and a little smoother out of the core, it maintains a very good looking shape for her like the other balls, but we continue to work our way down the ladder of overall strength. Instead of the High Road, we're going to look at the Hyped Pearl, because this is one she trades back and forth with the High Road depending on what else she has in her bag. Like we just talked about, the Dark Moss is kind of a riff on the High Road. If she was carrying an IQ Tour instead of the Dark Moss, she'd likely have the High Road at the bottom, but since the DM is close enough, she can go a different direction. The Hyped Pearl is an earlier and rounder look than the High Road, but still in the same general hook potential zone. Leaving it shiny makes it cleaner and sharper than the Dark Moss, plus a couple boards weaker. For me, I need and prefer different shapes within the same general hook potential zone. For her, she needs similar shapes in different hook potentials as the lanes transition. The Hyped Pearl is very quietly the best light to medium oil ball in the catalog in our opinion, and we'll see James with it later on in the video as well. Speaking of James, we're going to start at the top with the Infinite. It's not a ball that he'll make it through a whole league set with, but it's a very good and versatile reaction that will rarely leave his bag. It definitely blends and controls fresh patterns well. They obviously have to be medium volume at the very least and above, but it plays well on both league and sport patterns. It's like a stronger Rubicon. It's, it's virtually all I've used in League since I got it. I think it's right up next to the Reality in terms of usability and versatility. Again, though, James plus Infinite equals really fast transition, so we're going to move to the Reality check now. As I said in the review and recent comparison to the Nova, whether you're balling down into the check from the Infinite or up from the Nova, it loves getting deep and playing the big wheel. I think it's much too responsive for anyone, especially a lower rev rate like Angel, to stand too close to the friction with it. It loves being rolled and loves being thrown at the ditch from fourth arrow. This is the most fun anyone will ever have watching a ball roll. It's so readable and consistent. There's no guesswork with it at all. Thrown from the proper angle and placed on the lane, you see he can get it out and it'll recover, or get it in and it'll sit there. Now, the amount of forgiveness, of course, will depend on your game and the conditions. Remember, it was a little dodgy on the Fresh Nationals pattern in the review, but heavy hands from fourth arrow in League and house shot tournaments will make a lot of money with this one. Staying around the same zone, James is also a big fan of his UC2. With the Infinite and Check both having stronger cover formulas, he can still stay asymmetric under that. The UC2 has a much cleaner cover formula and almost cuts the intermediate diff in half, so it's got a weaker cover and is kind of half of an asym. It gets length as easily as the Check, but doesn't dig so hard. It's a little rounder on the back end and just less everything overall. The E-Trax cover handles friction extremely well. Somehow it's both responsive and controllable. I think that's because it needs a significant amount of friction to slow it down and start it turning, but once it gets going, it takes off without burning up or puking. His next ball down from that is still an E-Trax cover, just a hybrid version, and a strong symmetric core with the idle synergy. This is about the best ball-to-bowler matchup I've ever seen. You see right away that it's very familiar to the UC2, but even a bit rounder on the back end. You also get to see a great adjustment progression if you pay close enough attention. Sometimes when you think you see misses in videos, it's either testing limits or a continuing series of fine-tuning adjustments. And that's what he's doing here to improve his look, find more miss room, more consistent reaction, etc. It's also a very good visual illustration of the differences between asymmetric and symmetric cores, and just exactly what the extra torque from an asymmetric core looks like, because the UC2 and Synergy both have identical RG and differential values. The main difference between the two is the asymmetry. This and the UC2 were filmed at a different time than the other balls, obviously, but the lanes were in a similar state of transition, with him this deep, of course, so when he needs length in a round, controllable, and very stable ball roll, the Synergy is again about the best look for him that I've seen for anyone. And lastly, just like Angel, he's a big fan of his hyped Pearl. Once again, it's to the Synergy what the Synergy is to the UC2. Same general look and feel, just less of it. When the lanes are completely gone, the hyped Pearl is a step down off the Synergy. Marginally weaker cover and core, but enough to make a difference. Very similar roll overall, just built for light to medium and still covers boards well on the burn. Now here's a treat for those that stuck around this far. It's a preview of the RSTX3 while I take care of the business here. If you like our jerseys, Rosdahl 10 gets you 10% off your order at checkout at CoolWick. The code's in the description to copy and paste. Follow my Bowler's Mart link in the description for your bowling needs that associate your purchases with me, which helps me out quite a bit, and I do get a 5% commission of sales from the use of the link, so thanks for using that. Check out the SRGBBFS group on Facebook for all things SPI, and of course thanks to Turbo and especially Storm for their huge support of the channel. Also, the new Super Thanks button below the video on the line with the like and share buttons allows you to leave me a tip, other than that you should always toss a coin to your Witcher. Also, final note, we didn't get anywhere close to our goal for the reality check giveaway I announced in that review. However, there were so many great comments that I'm going to extend the giveaway indefinitely until we get the 900 global channel to 10,000 subs, at which point I'll give away a ball of choice and a couple CoolWick jerseys. That review is linked in the description below for details on how to enter. Look for that RSTX3 review coming very soon. The reality check and Wolverine Dark Moss, of course, are available now, so please consider using my Bowler's Mart link unless you've got a good pro shop to go to. And I've tried to avoid any more propaganda in my videos than it's absolutely necessary, but liking and subscribing would be greatly appreciated. Big shout out and major thanks to all my Patreon subs and my great Discord community that I don't talk about or thank nearly enough. Thank you for watching, and may the strikes be with you.